exposed how CBSE and ISC are cheating students. We revealed bizarre spiking of marks.
The exact figure 95, a number more awarded than any other mark between 0 and 100.
Students felt the 100th percentile pain. Now, HRD Minister endorses our exposé.
Spiking is absolutely unacceptable.
Is CBSE guilty of painting a rosy picture?
Good evening, namaskar, adab. It's that time of the year again when students of class 12 across country are always eagerly awaiting their board exam results. Those results ultimately end up determining the choices that they make in their lives. But students these days, and I'm sure many of you would agree with me, young students, parents who are watching Viewpoint right now, you'd all agree with me that students also spend a lot of time gathering information on various social media platforms just to make up their mind on what they should be doing in their future. Tonight, I'm really sorry to say this, but it does appear, folks, that this social media that all of us keep obfuscating about, this social media itself is suffering from some kind of a credibility crisis. Lines between fact and fiction are blurring constantly due to this new beast. And while we say that it can be a tool which can be used by you, me, our young friends, students across the globe, just to get some more information, what we believe is factual, actually a lot of this so-called factual information which floats around social media is not based on fact. Just see what happened, for a moment, just see what happened on Monday night on this very program when we were attempting to go beyond the blurring lines in the context of a debate which got triggered due to a tweet from actor turned politician Paresh Rawal. I think what's happening is that Sudhanshu ji is picking up statements, Karuna, which have been made attributing or quoting Arundhati Roy on various other social media platforms, and they've been put up on Twitter. But let me just for a moment, Sudhanshu ji,
no, she is not on any social media platform.
I'm saying her
not
comments have been
Facebook,
used.
not Twitter,
Her
not
comments.
any social media platform.
You're
She has
right.
not said anything on Kashmir since, I think, an Outlook article of many years ago.
She gave an
even.
interview. She's done an interview with
I
the
don't know,
National.
but is this wrong? Now, when these anti-national elements who challenge the constitution of
How dare
Kashmir,
you call me an
who challenge the
anti-national,
constitution of
If
India,
anything, if you are talking about,
I am entitled to my
if you
view.
are
Yes, you are
talking
entitled
about
to your. I am entitled to my view.
You are
Don't
not
be intolerant.
entitled to call
if
me
you
a
can have a view, I can have a
national,
contrarian view.
on any
And
forum,
my view
I'm
is you are
afraid.
an anti-national.
And
When
then
you
I
challenge the
decided to
constitution
shut
of
you
Jammu
down
and Kashmir,
Let her respond.
when you
Why?
challenge the
Why?
constitution
Why?
of India,
this
you
nation
are
when I had
challenging
many
the
other
constitution of
choices,
Kashmir.
because this
You
is
are
my
an
nation.
anti-national.
Let me-
You
So
do
when
not
I am
get to
talking
call
to
me an
somebody, I am
anti-national,
entitled
Mr.
to my
Milal.
Let me hear
view.
from
Bhupendra,
Karan.
can I express my view?
So, where did it all start? That debate started off with Paresh Rawal, well-known film star and now a BJP MP. When Mr. Rawal on Sunday night took to Twitter, he ended up tagging a fake news report. A fake news report which we have now found out only in the last 12 hours that this report, which was being quoted by Mr. Rawal on social media platforms, was actually a fake report. It was supposedly quoting Arundhati Roy, and on the basis of that, Paresh Rawal took to Twitter and said that she should be tied on the bonnet of an army jeep just like Major Gogoi, and she should be thrown before stone pelters. We picked it up on Viewpoint on Monday. Now on Wednesday, only on Wednesday it's turning out that this attributable report to Arundhati Roy was actually something which did not exist. That doesn't mean that Arundhati Roy's views on Kashmir or Jharkhand or Chhattisgarh in any way have changed. But in the context of that report, I must say this clearly, that Paresh Rawal's tagging was based on something which was not fact. Then on Monday itself, when Paresh Rawal tweeted 12 hours back and then Viewpoint picked up the subject, singer Abhijit started targeting JNU student activist Sheila Rashid after she tweeted a Hindustan Times story on the alleged involvement of BJP men in a sex racket. Now, Mr. Abhijit, who's a singer who likes to take very, very provocative and, may I say, often politically incorrect positions, decided to put up an offensive tweet, something which can never ever be tolerated in any mature democracy. This is what he was saying, and I don't even want to be reading these comments which were made by singer Abhijit. But what happened was this, that after he responded in an equally offensive manner, his account was suspended. As Abhijit's account gets suspended, his other Bollywood friend and colleague, Sonu Nigam, singer Sonu Nigam, decides to take up cudgels on behalf of singer Abhijit. Sonu Nigam, who recently shot to fame when he started the entire namaz controversy and then decided to shave off his head just to throw a challenge to the Maulanas, he put up a series of 24 tweets today, said that he's quitting Twitter, citing a lack of respect for freedom of speech. This is the view which has been expressed by Sonu Nigam, that if Paresh Rawal's tweet has to be deleted and Abhijit's Twitter account has to be deleted, then action must also be taken against a whole range of individuals like Sheila Rashid, who in the past have also put up very, very offensive tweets, may I say, against the likes of UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, who was our big newsmaker last night on Viewpoint. So what's the story today? Today's story is that Paresh Rawal has deleted that controversial tweet which he had put up on Arundhati Roy. Paresh Rawal in that tweet had said that Arundhati Roy, on the basis of comments which she had supposedly made to a Pakistani newsmaker, and now it turns out that those comments were never made, he ended up deleting that tweet. But he's not backing off. After having deleted his tweet, Paresh Rawal then puts up a letter on his official letterhead as a member of parliament and puts that out. He says, Paresh Rawal, I am being coerced to delete something I tweeted on the 22nd, or else Twitter would have blocked my account. He goes on to say that I am a citizen of India. I continue to defend my tweet that I had put in the context of Arundhati Roy being tied on the bonnet of a jeep and sent before stone pelters in Jammu and Kashmir. I support my expression, which was made without any prejudice to gender, race, religion or caste. And I maintain that I ardently love my country and I support my country's sovereignty unwaveringly. He also goes on to say that I stand by and will continue to stand by the citizens and Indian armed forces under any situation at any cost. Now, since we were the ones who picked up the story and the social media has been going absolutely crazy over the last 48 hours, columns are being written on why I decided to pick up this story, which was based on a fake tweet. It may have been based on a fake tweet, but Paresh Rawal happens to be a member of the ruling party. Therefore, my argument was based in the context of what a member of the ruling party of the BJP was saying. It was not in the context of what Arundhati Roy had been saying. Everyone has been asking me for my viewpoint. So I thought that I will be very, very clear, as I always am on this program, and state facts very clearly. So let me be blunt about this. I believe abuse and character assassination is a favorite pastime of all hyper tweeters. Many of these individuals hyperventilating against Paresh Rawal have in the past also used very, very strong words against their own ideological rivals. And I've just given you one instance of Sheila Rashid. You can just go on Twitter or Facebook and see the kind of comments which have been used by people to describe people in the BJP against Prime Minister Modi, against Amit Shah. All kinds of things have been said. I genuinely believe, and I say this with great responsibility, that I believe political correctness in public discourse is dead. It has died because of the kind of people who have now started dominating Facebook and Twitter. I most certainly, folks, I most certainly do not support violence against anyone. As one platform has been quoting me and saying that I said on Monday that am I mad? Kya main pagal hu? Of course, let me repeat it. Am I mad? Am I crazy that I will ever support violence in any way? But if the debate has to be on freedom of speech, I believe that debate must be fair and it must be equal on all sides. Let us conversely, therefore, let us come to an agreement on one thing today. All those who are on the right-wing side, who otherwise extol virtues of social media, will these individuals now think in terms of acting against that very medium that they all have loved so much, simply because that medium today has acted against two individuals who are supposed to be the big brand ambassadors of the right wing? That's my viewpoint, and that's something that I want all of you to think about. But it's not going to be my debate tonight. It's not going to be my debate tonight because I began by saying that I believe that Twitter has become a web of lies and deceit. So let's not spend too much of time on discussing lies and deceit. Other channels, other media platforms can do that. We always stick to facts. And on Monday also we were sticking to facts, not in the context of what Arundhati Roy was supposed to have said, but in the context of what Paresh Rawal indeed said, and he sticks to his viewpoint. It appears though, that education boards in our country are also doing a lot of lies, a lot of deceit. There is a lot of hera-pheri which is going on. It was only to get through this whole hera-pheri this whole lies and what is right and what is wrong. In the context of education boards, in the context of CBSE and ISC in our country, then I decided to catch up with the HRD Minister, Prakash Javadekar, today. All of you, all my young friends, my fellow parents who are all thinking hard, very, very anxiously, what will happen to the results? What will happen to class 12 results? When will those results come? Take a look at Prakash Javadekar, the HRD Minister, on why is there so much of uncertainty today about the Central Board for Secondary Education. There are stories now coming about the poor performance of class 10 students in state like Haryana. Various other states are reporting that the number of students who are failing exams, who are not managing to be promoted to the next class. You may have taken away boards and boards may be coming back in class 10. But what is the problem, sir? Is the problem lack of examination?
The problem is...
Or lack of teaching?
No, it was problem of unaccountability at all, of course, and particularly more in government schools. The students are going from first standard to 8th, 9th standard without any stoppage anywhere, without any accountability, and then it was intended that there will be continuous evaluation. It was intended that there will be a real learning process and not tension, but that things have not happened, and therefore we are bringing change that will change the scenario. And parents are very much parents also want that there has to be target for students.
So what are you saying? Are you saying that right now the process of continuous promotion which takes place, that's going to come to an end?
Yes, that will come to an end.
So exams will now start from class 5 onwards?
5 and 8.
5 till 8 or 5 and 8?
5 and or 8. They can detain.
No, I want to know, sir, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th.
All
examination.
There will be examination, but detention can happen only in 5 and 8.
But why then not in 6 and 7?
No,
that's the problem, sir.
No, because once you check it at 5th and then 8th, that's a good beginning. Let us try over these 4 years and we'll take next call.
So therefore, from class 1 till class 5, there will still not be any examination.
No, but there is a continuous evaluation which we will implement.
How does that take place? That's where the issue is.
The issue is we have to motivate teachers. I have done it, and performance improves, and therefore motivating the teachers, equipping the teachers, teachers training, everything if improves. Teachers are good, many are good, they are innovating without zero investment, and I want to promote good teachers, and bad teachers I want to give a stern message that then you don't become teachers.
So can there be regular exams like for students, for teachers as well, since you say accountability
should
be there, sir?
Yes, in-service training also will be a very important part of the whole process.
So teachers henceforth will also be subjected to some examination?
Not exam as such, but they will be not subjected to, they will be, we will provide them good education, in-service education, new pedagogical method, new technology, and best of the teaching methodologies where education becomes entertaining.
Is it possible?
Where education becomes interesting, where education becomes a fun and learning teaching process improves. So, and that's what we are going to do.
Unfortunately, the reality is that education is also big business in India.
Yeah.
You know, you're only speaking about government schools, but look at the private sector education, for instance, in India. What are the steps that you as an HRD minister are taking, sir, to ensure that it doesn't become just a mere business?
Today, still, in the school education, 26 crore students are from 1st standard to 12th standard. 26 crore students, out of which 9 crore are in private sector, 17 crore are in government sector. So this is basic, very important. And we want, therefore, our priority is to improve the quality of government education. Wherever, in some states it has improved, and rural private schools are drying up, the students are coming back to government schools. As far as cities are concerned, I have a plan for expansion of KV, because that has become a Kendriya Vidyalaya, has become a brand and a good education. There was problem of space. Now we are coming out with new solutions, and we also want to improve quality education at government level. But private schooling, we have said that you are not into business. You are into a mission of educating people. You are welcome. Private investment is welcome. Private initiative is welcome. But you can't loot.
You can't loot.
Loot.
So will there be some kind of a limit on the amount of fees which is being charged
Already
by private
many
schools?
states are doing it. The issue is
Delhi
not
has done it, for instance. I want to know
so
whether
it
other
is-
states are also doing it.
It is not only limiting the fees.
The limiting
hidden
fee
cost-
expenditure.
Hidden cost
Fee
must
increase.
go. There is even the CBSE code says guidelines while giving affiliation that you can charge reasonable fee. So I am very sure, I trust many private schools are doing good. They must be very clear that there is no hidden cost, this is the cost, so parents will choose.
No, so I'll tell you.
Because there are schools, private schools with 250 rupees per month fees, 2005 rupees per month fees, 25,000 rupees per month fees.
Why should
And
should a private school in India, why should an elementary private school in India charge 25,000 rupees a month
No,
as
but
school
that's
fee,
a
sir?
parent's choice. We are providing free education to everybody. And we are committed to do that.
No, my question, sir, like in Noida, recently, parents have launched a huge agitation
No,
of
but
sorts
therefore,
because
there are
hike
goods-
in school fees, sir, which takes
No,
place
but
from
there
private
are
schools.
free schools available in government sector.
No, I agree, sir, that there are free schools available in government sector, but I'm saying about the private sector.
No, but private sector.
Can you limit the fees? Can you
No,
limit?
no, see,
can you put a limit on the hike in fees?
2,25,000 private schools in the country, out of which only CBSE has only 18,000 and 2,000 are ICSE. Others are non-aided private schools affiliated to various state boards. So states do their job,
Right.
and many states are doing it. I'm very sure with this kind of reaction of parents and with this kind of the atmosphere which has generated, schools have also learnt a lesson that they cannot do with hidden charges. They have to be very frank enough. Disclosure is the basic norm, that we charge this much fee and this much only you will have to pay, no extra rupee throughout the year.
Like, in Andhra Pradesh itself, sir, Andhra Pradesh has now brought out a methodology where fees in
Yeah.
all affiliate schools, CBSE, ICSE, everything is being regulated. It has a time
So
come
every state,
for us to
because,
have a national
see,
policy.
essentially school education is a state subject, and therefore states are taking steps.
States are taking. So you would rather let the states take their own decision. Let me then move on, sir, and let me ask you, when you became the HRD minister, there was talk of Vedic education being made compulsory in schools. There was just something on the table. When Smriti Irani was the HRD minister, it was often spoken about. Is there any view, any
Let me
decision
tell
which
you,
has been taken?
Let me make it very clear. We are neither imposing any language nor making anything compulsory. Education is about choice. There will be, there are, as a buffet, there are so many things on offer. What needs to be taken is the choice of students and parents. And therefore, we are not imposing anything. Let me be very clear. Because see, what Modi government has brought on table. What we have brought on table in 3 years, it's not about only education. We have an able leader and a stable government. And more importantly, we have brought transparency on table. See, all the corruption was in natural resources allotment. All now coal, iron ore, spectrum and all other minerals are being now allotted through auction route only. That has brought transparency. DBT is transparency. It has saved 50,000 rupees of loot which middlemen were taking away. So, what Modi government has brought, that's our philosophy. Maximum governance, minimum government. Transparency is the name of the game, and therefore we are going ahead with that. And in education also, you will get the same reflection.
If this is true, sir, and since your buzzword is accountability, transparency, the problem with Indian education system, sir, has always been the overemphasis on marks. How much marks do students get? What is your view, sir? 3 years now down this government. Can we control this?
I'll tell you. Many experiments have taken place. Instead of marks, now grades are given. Then there are also other methods of assessment. And we are now conducting Shikshan Manthan. 5 regional workshops where good NGOs who are working in education, good teachers who have innovated, good headmasters who have done their school better, and also government officers who are doing something good. All are called there, and 4 of these have happened in Guwahati, Raipur, Bengaluru, Pune, and now last will be in Chandigarh. I sit throughout, and in each Shibir there are 40 new presentations. So many things we are taking, we are learning from each other, we will share best practices and will come out with a very good policy, because national education policy also will be coming very soon.
Sir? When will it be implemented? That too has been spoken about for long.
Next week, no, because 2.5 years, when 2 years consultation was completed, still members in parliament raised that we must also get a chance. So we gave chance in Rajya Sabha also, I held education dialogue also. Now the committee will be there next week, and then the committee, I hope within next 4 or 5 months, it will complete the work, and we will have a very comprehensive education policy, of which the 5 pillars will be accessibility, quality, equity, affordability and accountability.
On that note, sir, last year, on CNN News 18 itself, we had done a story where we had shown how moderation of marks by the CBSE was leading to an episode where students were getting far more marks.
Yeah.
Now that moderation suddenly has gone and it seems to be impacting results. How are you going to tackle this issue?
Because see, this is not again a government driven thing.
Agreed.
What good governance comes out with? All board chiefs came together. See, there were 3 types of marks inflation used to take place. In my days of schooling, there was no inflation. Whatever marks you have got, if you have got 32, 32 will be there. There was no addition or deletion. Now there started the system of grace mark. So somebody getting 30 marks also gets 35 so that he gets passed. That was grace mark. Then second was moderation, where boards have 3 or 4 sets of question papers. So it is many times happens that different part of the state solves different question papers. So to bring in equality and according to the difficulty level, you equalize the marks. That was moderation.
Right.
But suddenly last 10-15 years what has happened is, in a rat race to get admission into DU
more
and
marks.
other
That's why I said more marks.
Inflation of marks. So now everybody gets 100% marks. Thousands of students. I went to my friend's house. They were in sorrow. I said, what has happened? They said, our son has got only 90 marks. This is horrible. So all boards came together and decided to do away. This is called spiking.
So
this
spiking is now history.
Should go.
Spiking is history.
That is what they all decided. 5-6 boards which have declared results have not done spiking. I appreciate
so this time no spiking of marks.
So let us wait for seeing all the state results coming in. And there was a court case also. Today CBSE will issue a clarificatory note also, official press statement by the evening.
So what I hear from you is very clear, sir. Henceforth, you are going to move to a scenario where moderation of marks, and we can call it grace marks or hiking of marks, spiking of marks.
Grace mark has a logic.
Yeah.
The equalization of mark for different question papers.
Spike.
But spiking is absolutely unacceptable. And we have brilliant presentation of this. What has happened, how the system was tweaked, and now it has become a menace in last 15 years. And therefore, we will definitely improve on that.
So then spiking is gone. Interesting thing is that HRD Minister is saying this today in an interview to CNN News 18. On this very program, on this very platform last year, on the Big Five, we had revealed how CBSE was actually going about this entire job. It's not just CBSE, other examination boards in India were also busy trying to moderate marks to make themselves look good. And what was happening was that the number of people who were getting 95% plus was forever increasing, and that was having an impact on the cutoffs which were being worked out by premier institutes such as the Delhi University. Just take a look at how CNN News 18 last year itself had exposed the extent of the rot which had become a part and parcel of CBSE and ISC.
It is the big markup racket. Major discrepancies in marking of 2 of the country's biggest national board examinations, the CBSE and the ISC. One simple move that affects millions of students and their college admissions. The modus operandi, increasing a cluster of marks to one common figure, typically 95. So if a group of students got between 90 to 94 marks, they were automatically upgraded to 95.
This is the graph for the marks scored by students in CBSE's physics exam this year. Notice the extremely tall skyscraper of sorts at 95, which means that 24,400 students have scored the exact figure 95 in the physics exam. A number therefore more awarded than any other mark between 0 and 100. The maths exam, again 95, very prominently tall. History, economics, it's the same phenomenon.
It is not just the CBSE. The other big national board, the ISC, has also cheated students. In the ISC examinations of 2016, not one student in any paper scored an 81 or an 82 or an 84 or an 85. Nor did anyone score an 87, an 89, a 91 or a 93. In fact, there are 24 numbers between 40 and 100 which not one student has scored. So how does this affect you? In this day and age of cutthroat competition for college admissions, a difference of even a 0.% in your marks often determines whether you make the list or miss out. Therefore, if a person A scores 92 and his marks are increased to 95, whereas a person B scores a 95 and his marks stay as they are, that takes away the advantage of the person who actually scored higher.
So there you have it. This weekend class 12 results are going to be declared by the CBSE. The fact is, what we have shown you today is not something which we are only stating today. It was shown last year itself, which means that over the last 5 to 6 years, this whole marks moderation business has led to a huge mess and chaos in examination grading, in examination evaluation in India. Let's raise a blunt question on that note. What was really going on in India? All those stories of 100 percentiles and 98%. Is the CBSE, along with the ISC, are these examination boards guilty of painting a rosy picture of Indian education which perhaps doesn't exist? Full part panel stakeholders in this business joining us live. Former CBSE chairman Ashok Ganguly is joining us live. His stand is very clear that mark moderation reform is in the works. Another well-known educationist, Lata Vaidyanathan, she's a director at Tri Prakriti School, joins us live as well. She believes that the entire mark moderation policy itself is under scanner. Also joining me, former Vice Chancellor of Delhi University, Dinesh Singh, himself a renowned academician, mathematician, and someone who has very strong views on the kind of education policies which are being followed today. He joins us live as well. Here with us in our studios, Indu Yadav. She's a parent and she'll be joining us along with her own daughter who's expecting her class 12 results anytime. So welcome to all of you on the program. Let me first begin with the buzz around where we give our two lead speakers 1 minute each just to make the introductory comments and set up the context of the debate. So let me start first with you, Ashok Ganguly. You've been a former chairman, sir, and just look at what the HRD minister says. He says this mess has become a huge chaos over the last 15 years. Was the CBSE not knowing what the CBSE was doing for all these years, sir?
No, it's not that case actually. Actually, the moderation of marks and the grace marks are there since time immemorial. And these are part of the external assessment system. When we talk of doing away with the moderation of marks, then we need to understand what we are doing away with it. Because moderation is being done at 3 stages. First is the moderation of question papers. The second is the moderation of marking schemes. And then the third stage is the moderation of marks, if at all necessary, adding to the raw score. Now, in any examination, when the variables are so large, if the moderation of question papers and the moderation of marking schemes are done appropriately, then there should be no need for moderation of marks in the third stage. What is happening because of the entire focus, anyhow to get the right marks, anyhow to get the right college admissions, and that is why for the last 3 to 4 years, when the comprehensive and continuous evaluations were implemented in class 10th examination, then this inflation of marks happened, and the state board also.
Let me just hold you there because you have 1 minute or so. I'll come back to you in the open round of the debate. But Dr. Dinesh Singh, let me come to you, sir. You've been a former Vice Chancellor of the Delhi University, and just what Ashok Ganguly is saying there, that actually the problem is not with with the school system. The problem is with the kind of high cutoffs which exist. in university, specifically Delhi University, the kind of cutoffs which we've seen in Sri Ram College of Commerce and St. Stephen's College, 100% admissions hi khatam ho gaye. Is lack of colleges driving this mark moderation for the CBSE?
Well, you know, Bhupen, the University of Delhi is a very convenient whipping boy, and sort of everything seems to come and collapse on its shoulders. I think we need to be a little more objective in the matter. The university is bursting at its seams. You know, it has 80 odd colleges spread across the city, and they work to full capacity, and it cannot handle more than that. There are administrative issues, there are all kinds of issues connected with it. But it's not the university that raises cutoffs. You have the university on an all India basis admits each year 60,000 students. That's its maximum capacity. And do you know, just from the states of Bihar, Uttar Pradesh and the CBSE board, so the Bihar board, Uttar Pradesh board and CBSE board, for the last few years, each year 60 lakh students graduate from the school exams. Now just imagine, there's a huge rush, and amongst the universities in India, particularly in the north, but generally the University of Delhi stands out. When I was Vice Chancellor, within my first year we reached the #1 ranking, and globally we were rising up, and that certainly becomes an attractor.
So you say that don't convert Delhi University into some kind of a whipping boy is your initial comment. I'll come to you in a moment, Dr. Singh, as we move to the open round of the debate. Let me come to the real stakeholders, parents and students. Here with us in our studios, Indu Yadavji is there along with her daughter Kamya, who's just appeared for her class 12 examination. So I firstly wish you all the very best, Kamya. And I was looking at your facial expressions when Prakash Javadekar was saying that now I'm going to completely do away with this mark moderation business. Does this scare you? Does this make you believe that actually you may have worked very, very hard, you know, right through this whole last year? Suddenly, because of some new government policy, your hard work may end up being impacted. Is that a genuine fear that you have today?
Honestly, it depends on what side of the spectrum you're on. So if you're somebody who's been working extremely hard and you're expecting a 95 plus without the moderation or without the spiking up of marks, it's not really going to affect me so much. But if I'm on the other side of the spectrum where this mark moderation or this spiking up of marks is what's going to get me to that golden 95, then yes, it does scare me. It scares me a lot because it's not just DU admissions that depend on this. There are a lot of peers of mine who've applied abroad, and their conditional offers have been on the basis of these marks that students have been getting over the past years. And if suddenly there's a drop in those marks, if somebody who was expecting a 93 or a 94 because of this moderation suddenly drops to an 85, their entire admission process is in jeopardy.
Do you believe that there is a lot of chaos? You know, as a student, when you speak to your friends, like you're saying that there are a lot of people who would have applied abroad, and when you apply abroad, the entire process of admission is based on the marks that may have been obtained in previous years. Do you all get a sense that actually the education authorities in this country do not really have a clear answer to why this anomaly has come up? Is that something which you all discuss within your peer group?
Well, so to say, no, not really, no. But there is a certain amount of, I would say, confusion as to how is it that everybody, so like even your report said, how everybody ends up getting exactly that 95 in English. Like we have seen over the past years, even with our seniors, that a maximum number of students are getting a 95. So there is obviously a certain amount of confusion as to how this is happening and how the entire ministry has, or CBSE has decided that that is the number you're supposed to kind of just stop
Induji, as a parent, does this make you anxious when the HRD minister comes up and says that I believe actually it's a previous government which is responsible for this kind of an anomaly, and now I'm going to do away with this anomaly? Does this make you a little anxious? Does this make you feel that maybe your child's hard work is today going to be sacrificed because of some change in some government policy?
Yeah. So I would like to just endorse, you know, what Kamya just said. It depends on where you stand or where your child stands. If your child is, you know, near that golden number of 95, as a parent, probably I would not really be that stressed out. You know, whether there is moderation, no moderation. But if my child is on the other side, away from that golden number, I would really feel concerned about that.
Lata, you know, this is really scaring me, and thank God, Lata Vaidyanathan, that, you know, that I do not have to appear for these class 12 board examinations, but I'm just listening to what Kamya is saying and what Kamya's mother is saying, Ms. Vaidyanathan. It really scares me. It really scares me because I do not know. I just have no idea about whether CBSE or HRD Ministry today has any clue about what they're doing. Mark moderation. Why should mark moderation be done away with if mark moderation was so good all these years?
So I have been listening to the student and her mother very carefully, and it really bothers me that their point of view has to be factored in when a basic policy issue is being discussed, simply because you can't suddenly put it in the market and say henceforth this is what it's going to be. I think it has to be a very considered, careful decision, and exactly like Dr. Ganguly, who said that if the other two factors were taken care of, the moderation at the end was not required. But look at the student. The early admissions have happened, students have taken admissions abroad, they have been promised seats, and they're all waiting for the predictable scores of the class 12 exams to be at par with what they have been getting all this while. Now, if that falls from 95 or 94, whatever, to 73 and 74, because it's not unusual to understand that someone getting 73, 74 or 94 can also get a 95 after moderation, then it really it's a cause for concern. Now, basically, I think all this stems from the fact that our higher education sector needs to really look at it very deeply. For example, private institutions like the IITs and even the I think the other university here in
Ashoka University, yeah, there are a whole range of private universities
have actually taken a call saying that, you know, they will not consider the board exams results as a part of their consideration for admission. Now, I would look at it in a slightly different way and say that it's not just about these specialized institutions, but also institutions like the higher education sector must have a better way of admitting students and not declare such high cutoffs.
Okay.
So, where did this actually stem from? I'm suspecting that, look at that, one single college in a particular year had more than 80 students from a single board.
Very good point.
Now, this raises a lot of doubt.
So, can I just hold you? Lataji, let me just hold you.
Parity exists with all the state board exams.
Right. Let me just hold you, because I think you're really flagging off a very important point. And all my viewers are asking me to elaborate a little more on what you're saying on my Twitter timeline. So I'm so happy that, that we have Dinesh Singh on one and Ashok Ganguly on the other, and you're there as well. I just want to put up this graphic, for our viewers, just to give you a sense of the extent to which this entire marking system, the extent to which marking system in India has really been completely sacrificed. First, look at this 95 golden number. Students who got 95% above in CBSE 12, class 12, take a look from 2012 onwards, 4,456. In 2013, that figure increases to 7,231. In 2014, that figure stems to 8,971. Now, Dr. Singh is here, and Dr. Singh says that actually Delhi University is just being converted into a whipping boy. The fault lies somewhere else. My point is, sir, Dr. Singh, is this, that you yourself have been a product of St. Stephen's College, and who better than you who would probably be aware of the kind of crazy cutoffs which were worked out. Are you telling me, Dr. Singh, today that the reason why this mark moderation policy was in place was to ensure that students who were, let's say, on the higher side of this mark business could ultimately end up getting into certain colleges if they wanted? By that logic, I may say that if someone who gets 85%, if he doesn't get upgraded to 90%, then the CBSE is being extremely unfair to those students. So, to help a certain lot at the top, is the CBSE being unfair? Are the examination boards being unfair to those who may be languishing behind in the 85 to 90% bracket?
Well, Bhupendra, I honestly don't know what and why CBSE does whatever it does. I'm only going by news reports and the way you portrayed the situation, and I can't even see the graphics, but I got the figures that you mentioned.
From 2012 to 2014, sir, 100% increase.
Sure.
You understand maths, 100% increase from 2012 to 2014, sir.
I understand that very well. let's look at something else, Bhupen, and I wish authorities and I wish the HRD minister and policy makers would take a little bit of perspective of this kind into their, viewpoint. So, as I just mentioned, from the UP board, the Bihar board and the CBSE board altogether, 60 lakh students are going to graduate this year. Just try and think, how are you going, suppose you were to award marks which are distinct to each student of all these 60 lakhs. And suppose these are the ones who are going to pass. There are lots who will fail, I'm not talking about them. So they will be 30% and above. And try fitting them on the scale from 30 to 100 and see at which point you will not have anyone scoring, a large number of them scoring at that point. So think about that. The second thing is that there is this, to my mind, an unfortunate rush to gain admission to the University of Delhi. And that's because all our other universities apparently, and I'm no one to comment in any absolute terms, but apparently they are not performing to the level the public expects them to perform. And I am certainly familiar with some great institutions of the past which have gone completely downhill. And so students from all these regions have no choice but to flock to places like Delhi to come and seek admission. And the numbers go up. Now the university could devise a test, a kind of national test, and say we will not give that much weightage to marks. But all this just adds to the burden of the student. What we really need to solve this problem is a comprehensive, well thought out policy which involves 2 or 3 things. One, getting all the boards together, which I think I heard the HRD minister say that they are thinking about that or they're already doing something. But this must happen at a deep scientific level on how we conduct exams, what are they meant for. 2, you must begin to do something to raise the level of universities all across India. There are so many universities, hundreds of them in the government sector. Almost all of them are languishing. There are shortage of funds, not enough good faculty, bad leadership, and absolutely very little autonomy. If you do not rectify these, in the years to come, India will be in deep trouble. Take my word for it.
Ashok Ganguly, it's a doomsday scenario which has been predicted here by Dr. Dinesh Singh. But I'm still trying to understand if the CBSE was indulging in this mark moderation over such a long period of time, would I be wrong if I was saying that actually this was a scam? This was a scam which was unfolding. I mean, how do you work out this marking process where it's possible for so many examiners, because these papers get evaluated by so many people? At what stage is this decision taken that if you've got 94, a batch of people get 94, let's upgrade them to 95? At what stage, who takes this decision, Ashok Ganguly, is what I want to know.
No, I need to elaborate the 2 important things. First, that moderation has a scientific basis and it must not be handled in a very unscientific manner.
But Prakash Javadekar says there is no science.
The moderation
Prakash Javadekar, HRD minister, I'm sorry to hold you, says that there is no logic behind mark moderation. There is logic in awarding grace marks, but not behind hiking marks.
It is there in time immemorial. He may not be knowing that there are multiple set of question papers, more than 9-10 sets of question papers, and you cannot maintain the equal difficulty level of these question papers. So if there is something, even after moderation of question paper, even after moderation marking scheme, certain discrepancy remains in the system, it has to be removed. That's very essential. Now I'm also telling that if the moderation the earliest done in a proper manner, and if you draw a graphical representation, you will find that it will give a bell-shaped curve, not more than 4 to 5% of students getting more than 90 or 95% of marks. That is one aspect. The second aspect, second aspect, when there is a steady decline of the higher education across India, entire focus on Delhi University. Why the Delhi University is following the golden rule for admission, that a process of elimination rather than a process of selection. So when a mismatch between demand and supply,
this is almost becoming as if CBSE's job is to supply students to Delhi University, and therefore CBSE must increase its marks and ensure that people get to SRCC, get to Hindu College and get to St. Stephen's College. Is that the basis of the problem, sir?
Bhupen, there are 2 things I want to say very quickly. One, I'm not sure, of course, there is some process of moderation, and Dr. Ganguly is a very wise man and he's been familiar with it, so I'm sure there is some logic to it also. But just think about the legal scenario. Here is someone who sits for an examination, scores with enormous hard work and understanding of the subject, say 95 on his own directly. Here's someone else who gets 90. And you bump him up to 95.
That's my point.
There are legal issues involved.
There are legal issues involved.
So that's the one.
Right. No,
yes,
that's why I was using the word scam. That's why I was using the word scam. That maybe this has been a scam which has been the word. Lata Vaidyanathan, Lata Vaidyanathan, am I right when I say that actually there should be an inquiry to figure out at what level was this mark moderation going on? Who was really responsible for this?
No, Bhupen, I think the most important thing that we really need to focus on is not so much a focus on marks or how it's happening or whether it's a scam. But I think we need to focus on how is the selection process going to be better in the higher university sectors, in the higher education sectors. If we focus on that and take away the focus from that one exam and one set of marks, I think we'll be doing students yeoman service. Let's look at a 4 years performance. Let's look at there are so many universities and there are examples all over the world how admissions happen. Why is it that just Delhi universities face these problems as rest of the country? And as Dinesh pointed out, maybe the quality of and standards of the universities need to improve so that people and students don't congregate into one place. I think there should also be a lot of encouragement to the private universities and other quality institutions that must come up so that, this over focus on marks is completely taken off. I think it seems so unrealistic that so much of marks escalation is happening, and because of the nature of our states, nature of our marking schemes, nature of multiple papers, in order to keep the fairness going, we land ourselves up in a situation where such moderation becomes necessary. Also look at the examiner variation of marks.
Right.
Those also cause a problem. So when we look at the entire scenario, a large number of students all aspiring for higher education, I think we need to look at more better ways of admitting children to the universities.
But I must say, having heard all the three luminaries today, having heard all the three education luminaries on the program today, from Professor Dinesh Singh to Lata Vaidyanathan to Ashok Ganguly, I must tell you upfront, on Viewpoint, I'm always very blunt, I must tell you clearly, I don't think that the HRD ministry is aware of the extent of the problem that the three of you are telling me about today. Therefore, let me give the final word then to the parents. Let me give the final word to the parent and the students here. Kamya ji, Kamya and
I'm a parent too, by the way.
Yeah, well, yes. I'm thankful. I don't know what will happen 13 years hence, and I'm not yet at that stage where I have to wait for my students' class 12 results. But Induji, just the comments which have been made there by Dinesh Singh to Lata Vaidyanathan to Ashok Ganguly. Are you getting a sense of this removal of mark moderation? Is this in any way going to make your task easier as a parent? Or just listening into these three people today for the last 10 minutes, does this make you feel that there is something very, very chaotic which is about to happen when these results come out?
Well, after mark moderation also, there are a whole lot of students who are getting in 90s. I'm a mother.
So what happens now with the moderation goes, marks will come down?
Marks will come down, but then at the same time, children who are actually near that 95. So, as they say, how do you separate grain from the chaff?
How do you separate grain from? Are you any clear today, Kamya? Tell me, having heard all the three, and who better than these three today on the program to help us deal with that confusion? Are you in any ways more relaxed, or do you believe that the fear of the unknown is only getting a little worse for you?
I think the fear of the unknown is getting worse. I would say I'm on the safer side because I applied abroad and I got into a university where my offer is not conditional. I am secure. But for others who are waiting just solely on those board marks, I don't see the path getting any clearer for them.
Thank you to all of you for joining us on Viewpoint today. I genuinely hope and pray that the HRD ministry is aware of what it's doing, because HRD minister has very clearly said no mark moderation. It's a scam for him, which had existed when the UPA was in power. Are students of this country going to be sacrificed for a UPA versus NDA rivalry? Is something which perhaps could be debated on the day when those results come out. Thank you so much to all our panelists for joining us on our big debate here on Viewpoint tonight. Well, lucky me that I do not have to wait for my class 12 results. I've crossed that bridge a long time back. But all of you are waiting for our hero, villain and ridiculous of the day. Who is the hero of the day? Is the CBSE the villain of the day today? Should we make them the villain of the day or not? Many of you sending us tweets, many of you sending us a lot of comments on Facebook. Keep those comments coming in. We'll give you the final vote on the hero, villain, ridiculous of the day on the other side of this short break. Welcome back. Oh boy, I've just been completely taken aback by the kind of responses that we've got for our hero of the day today. So let's start. Who's the hero of the day? All you parents out there reposing faith in the HRD minister, so Prakash Javadekar is our hero of the day for doing away with mark moderation and promising the country that he knows exactly what he's doing. I hope he does. I hope he really knows what he's doing. Who's the villain of the day? Villain of the day is the Education Board, the Central Board, the CBSE, for having indulged in this mark moderation over such a long period of time and now simply throwing its hands up, saying, sorry, we made a mistake, now we'll make an amends and finally we'll do away with all mark moderation. What will happen to poor students? CBSE is a villain of the day. Who's the ridiculous of the day? Ridiculous of the day is that body on the basis of whom we began the program today. All those fake Twitter handles, fake news propagandists who use columnists, who use opinions which exist in social media just to further their own interests, all those fake news handles, ridiculous of the day. That's it then from me. I'll see you again tomorrow night. Till then, bye-bye. Sleep well. Good night.